Hi Grizzly fans, welcome to GI TV, here again at the Moreton Pottery Lounge at Miller Park. Today joined by one of our great club greats and a top bloke to boot. Welcome and thanks for your time. Can you please introduce yourself?
Sean Jansen from Green Island Premiers and shot over to Leicester to try play number 8 over there.
Thanks Sean, welcome. So hang on, this sounds familiar a bit, but in reverse, this season we've had Tom Marshall come over from Premiership team Newcastle in England to play number 8 for the GI Premiers. So it's two guys playing the same position, number 8, one leaving GI to go to England and the other coming to GI from England. It's quite an amazing coincidence.
No, it is. It's quite a crazy story actually. I remember when I was over there and heard he was coming over, I was like, yeah, it's pretty crazy.
That's good, and you've had a chance to catch up with him since you've been here?
Yeah, no, I met him when we came back and I came and helped out when we played Zingaree, had a good yarn, then had a few beers at the club and got a good chat to him. He's a good lad. Yeah,
no, he is top bloke, and hopefully we'll catch up with him with an interview in the coming weeks. Yeah, it's possibly a first for club rugby in Dunedin or maybe even New Zealand, you know, as far as the story goes with the two of you both playing number 8. But once we get this on Facebook, no doubt we'll hear in the comments if it's happened before. So Sean, you know, playing for Leicester in England, you know, it's been well documented via our Facebook page, and shout out to Mark Wood for uploading all the latest news and on your games, etc., and the write-ups in the ODT, and there was a great write-up last week as well. Before we talk about life in England, just want to take you back to the season last year with the Premiers. You know, it was a massive accomplishment for the players, the coaches, the managers, the whole club, the community, getting to the final. It, you know, we won a lot of trophies, which was good, and obviously we'll talk about the final soon. But it just, you know, outside looking in, it felt that, you know, it is a very professional environment created by Dean and Eric. You know, it just hasn't happened overnight, and it's been a lot of years in the making. So, your thoughts on the season before getting to that final?
No, I'd just like to touch on what you said. It's just the work that Eric and Dino put in, and the other guys in the background. You don't see some of the managers, Horst and AJ, and that put a lot of work in. It wasn't just an overnight thing that made us come from a team that wasn't doing so well to making a Prem final. So. But it was awesome to do it for the community. You know, like you have the same people in the club rooms every weekend, win or loss. So it was awesome to put a smile on their faces in the season we were having last year.
No, indeed, that's right. We, you know, those smiles come and go, but at the end of the day, we're all here to support all of our teams and all of our players. So you're right, we get a good buy-in from our community, our sponsors, you know, volunteers. So it's great, and that's what we instill ourselves on, as being a great family club, well supported, to make it a great time for all concerned. And on to that final, obviously the result didn't go our way, but leading into it, we'd beat Tyree twice. We'd won the Bizet Memorial for him, you know, who knows how many years. It was a number of years, so that was another great achievement. What were your memories going into that week leading up to playing at Forsyth Bar Stadium?
No, it was a huge week. I remember that. A very nervy week, I guess. You know, like it was quite big for the community. Even being in the final was big, so it was a shame that we couldn't do it. But playing a team like Torrey that they've got the same outfit kind of every year was tough, and we did lose a few players due to higher honours. But to get there was still an awesome opportunity.
That's right. It was a great achievement. You know, we had, you know, we used players from our Premier 2s. We had a couple of injuries, as you say, players that were penciled in to play for Otago. But at the end of the day, we got there, and you know, I can speak on behalf of everybody concerned at the club and our community. You know, we're immensely proud, and we did. You know, we celebrated that night and had a great time. So. It was great for all concerned. So after the Dunedin club season finished, then what was next as far as your rugby career?
So at the end of last year, after the comp finished, I shot with Dino and played Otago Bees. So I played that Otago B season, which was a good fun season. We were pretty good, and it was good to be back with Dino coaching. When that finished, I got a call from the North Otago coach who asked me to come up. One of the players had gone off, so he asked me to come play for North Otago. So I went up there and played for the Old Golds, which was an awesome experience as well.
Yeah, and there was a great write-up in the ODT yesterday about that experience. So that was playing at the Heartland Championship, and I'm guessing it was balancing practicing and travelling and playing with your day job, which in that tournament a lot of the players do have to manage. How was that that balancing?
It was right, I guess. Working full time and then training, and then you got to travel up to Oamaru, and that was quite busy at the time. But if you get your day planned out, it's alright. But it was good. It was enjoyable, and the boys up there are all good lads, and like I got a lot of mates that I'll have for the rest of my life, like I said in that thing. So yeah.
No, that's great. So from GI to Oamaru, and then off to England and Leicester. So how did all that come about?
So practically after the North Otago season, made a wee highlight video, and after that, the highlight video got sent round because my uncle has a few connections over in UK, and practically from there, Leicester seen the video, came back to me, watched a few games, had an interview, and then 5 minutes later, I'm on the plane to England. So it was pretty crazy, surreal how fast it happened. Yeah,
that's right, and that's the whole reason to catch up today is to hear about the story, which is, as you say, it's been in the paper, and we've seen some interviews online as well. So for the club's perspective, it's that's what we're here to nurture the players, to help them progress. So it's a great story to, I suppose, for all concerned, that it can be done, and you're proving that it can be done. So that's great.
Yeah, and I think I just quickly on that as well is like the work that Eric and Dino and all those guys have put in, and you see the amount of players that have came from Green Island making high honours and making Otago and Southland and Ray off to the Rebels and stuff. Like, it's a lot of work that Dino and Eric have put in to put these players from playing club footy to professional. So
yeah, that's right. And that, as you said, it doesn't happen overnight. This is from those guys and others. It's been years in the making. Having that core group of players to work with over 2 or 3 seasons. It was just shone through last year with how well we did. So when did you just decide to give this professional rugby lark a bit of a crack, as far as what structure did you put in place, your own sort of training regiment?
I think, like, since I was in high school, I always wanted to be a professional rugby player, and I was always kind of a hard worker, but when I was a bit young, I was a bit naive, I guess. I'd work hard, but then maybe have a few beers, or I'd work hard, but then do this, and wasn't really reflecting what I wanted to do. So I think the start of last year, I had a real good chat with you guys, and I just really wanted to give a big shot at it. So it was more just putting plans in place on what I need to do to get there, and I guess do my decisions outside of rugby, and everything reflects what I want to do in my life and my career.
That's great, Sean. So as far as, did you call on others or talk to other people that have been there, done that before, or it was using the expertise and experience of others to help you with your sort of the plans to get where you've got to? I
think definitely I've had a lot of talks with different people, and people that have been in my position and are in a higher position, or ex-players. But I think it's easy to talk with someone and do this, but it's more you need to make the change in your head, and if you really want it, it's the actions you need to make to really get there.
That's right. Yeah, no, totally agree. At the end of the day, it's up to the individual to literally pull your socks up and get on with the hard graft. So, any advice to any junior Grizzlies out there looking to use rugby as a career, or any of our senior players within the club?
I think just stick at it, and like I said, get it. If you really want to be a professional player, then make sure the actions of yourself are reflecting what you want to do. I think as well, obviously a lot of players, they'll come through school, play bar schools, then they'll play Highlanders 20s, then they're in a Tiger, then they're in Highlanders. But it doesn't happen for a lot of players, and it didn't happen for me. And I think for a lot of players, it's quite tough and it's quite easy to give up and just choose a social life or just give up on the thing. But I think, like for me, it can still happen if you just keep putting that work in. You know that one day you'll get that call, that you'll get your shot.
Yeah, that's right. No, there's only so many people that can, or players that can play, you know, for Otago, for the Highlanders, for the All Blacks, but actually going offshore, you know, challenging yourself to actually, well, as you've done, let's go to England and play professional rugby. Or, you know, we look at Woody, you know, going to Spain, and you know, Dylan's gone to had a stint in Japan. So, and the USA is opening up as well for professional players. So, literally, the world is your oyster when it comes to a rugby career. So, life in England. So, you've how many months have you? You know, you got there February. So, was that 4 or 5 months before coming home?
4 months, yeah.
So, looking at Leicester, it is a very well-run professional team. Outside looking in, obviously got your first team. There's a couple of there's a junior and senior academy, plus even a wheelchair rugby team. So, your impressions of the club and, you know, getting there and starting into that environment?
No, I was pretty blown away, to be honest, when I first got there. They're a very professional club run by Steve and that you know, thrive and drive the club to where it is. And it was a bit similar story. Like 2 years ago, Leicester, I think they were fighting for relegation, and then we won the Premiership this year. So, yeah.
That's right, and we'll get onto that Premiership win in a minute. But you mentioned Steve Borthwick, you know, coach, ex-Bath and Saracens player, England player and captain, and then England forward coach for a period of time now. Obviously, Leicester's coach. So, what's his coaching style like? And, you know, being a forward himself, a lock, you know, what have you picked up as far as some new skills or some learnings?
I picked up a lot. Like it's awesome to be coached under him. He's definitely just a knowledgeable guy. He doesn't take nothing, and he brings the best out of players. And there's a lot of players in Leicester who were playing not much, and now they're playing England or wherever international they are. And I'm just really grateful to be able to be coached by him and learn off him.
Yeah, they run you know, as you would expect, a great Facebook page where there's certainly promoting and listing all the players that have made different squads, whether it's under 20s or, say, the England team, or and I forgot the guy's name, but is there a player that plays for Wales?
Yeah, Tommy Raphael.
And so he was in obviously had a good game against South Africa on the weekend, so that was great. So when you're not involved in rugby in Leicester, and I suppose for those viewers, listeners, they're not sure where Leicester is, it's pretty much bang in the middle of England. Have you spent much time outside of the city?
I've done a bit, I guess, with playing games and travelling. You bus trip everywhere, which is quite crazy there because you're in a city like Leicester, which is, you know, massive in comparison to Dunedin, and then you drive 40 minutes, you're in another city, or you drive an hour, you're in another city, and then 2 hours to London, which the population's like 9 million. So I've been to London a few times, which was pretty crazy for a kid coming from Dunedin to a place where it's hectic there.
Yeah, and you know, talking about the fans as far as the Leicester rugby team goes, tell us about the fans.
Oh, they're crazy. I remember when I first got there. I got there at the start of the week, and there's a game on Saturday, and I walked in. It's just deafening how loud they are. They're a bit different to, I guess, New Zealand fans are a bit more quieter and a bit more, but they've got chants going on consistently, and you can barely hear yourself think.
Yeah, and you know, if we look at professional sport in the UK, you know, football's obviously massive, and those fans are well adversed at their songs and chants, etc. And you know, I'm pretty sure that the rugby fans these days have probably learnt from their football cousins as far as the chants, etc. Have you been to any football games or wanted to get one?
Yeah, I haven't had the chance yet. That's something I definitely want to do. I mean, I'm not the biggest football fan, but I think just to be, you know, I thought rugby was crazy, but they're saying football's another step up, so it'd be quite cool to go to a game and see what the atmosphere is like there.
Yeah, and looking at the various tournaments within professional rugby in the UK, there seems to be a lot of rugby as far as you've got the European Champions Cup, the Premier Rugby Cup and the Premiership Rugby. So can you just quickly sort of cover off what each one of those is and the games that you've played in those?
Yeah, so they've got the Europe Cup, which runs during the year. That's between everyone in Europe, so it's kind of like the champions of Europe. You've got Ireland, France, etc., etc. They all play, so they'll be in pools, and then you'll play during your season, or it'll be like a 2-week break between your season. You'll play that, and then there's a winner of that. Then you have Premiership, which is just your normal light Super Rugby. It's your normal season, and then they have Premier. I think it's Premier Rugby, which is they play a lot of midweek games or Friday night games, and they normally rest their starters for that game. So I've played 3 of those, and then I got a chance to get my debut in a Premiership game against Harlequins. So that was that was quite cool. Yeah.
And I revisited that game on YouTube, and you did a run. You got tackled, set it up, and then the balls popped up to Ndolo, who just smashed everybody. Yeah. Literally, the sea opened. And did you get off the ground in time to see him dot under the post?
Yeah, I did. I mean, I sat on the sideline watching him score a few tries. So it's pretty cool to be on the field with him and I guess run the ball before he got to score.
So you mentioned the Premier Rugby Cup. So one of those games was against Newcastle.
It was. Yeah, that was my first debut for Tigers.
Yeah, and you come up against Tom.
I did. That's why it's quite a crazy story. That
1
minute I'm playing him, and then I think old Craig messaged me and said, "Oh, the number 8 for Newcastle thinking of coming here." I was like, really? So and then next minute he's down here playing for mighty Grizzlies.
That's right, and playing very well indeed. Yeah. And we'll catch up with him soon, hopefully. Okay, so 11 months ago, playing the Dunedin Club Rugby final at Forsyth Bar, and then during this year you're at another rugby final. Tell us about that.
Oh, it was awesome, especially my first year there, be a part of the team, and then I get to go and be a part of a final that had 75,000 people there, and I guess it's quite humbling to think, where I guess I was a year ago to now, walking around with all these people. So definitely, it was very cool to be a part of.
And that was at Twickenham, which gets packed out, every international, obviously the finals, club finals, etc. So and those fans are just crazy as well. So what a great turnaround of 11 months from a good old Forsyth Bar Stadium here in Dunedin to the home of rugby at Twickenham. Well, we all know the home of rugby is here at Miller Park, but anyway, hey, so you've been back in Dunedin for a holiday with catch up and friends, with friends and family. That obviously was great for everybody to see you again and hear all the stories.
No, it was awesome to be get to see my family again. Yeah, I mean, and all my mates. It's over there you do get quite homesick, and you do have some times where it's quite tough. So it will be quite tough tomorrow having to leave again, but I keep in close contact with my parents and my mates, so which does definitely help.
Excellent. And as you say, you're flying out tomorrow. Pre-season starts again on Monday.
Yeah.
So it's like 4 days away. So look, Sean, it's been an absolute pleasure catching up with you today. Really appreciate your time. On behalf of your family here at GI, our community, we wish you well for the coming season with Leicester. And who knows, we might see you back in Dunners. Maybe, well, fingers crossed we're in the green and gold, but hey, it could be the blue and gold. So well done and thank you.
Thank you very much. Cheers.